senior advisor for President Trump, Jason Miller, standing by. He is in Wisconsin. He was there yesterday watching President Trump as he walked onto the floor, getting a little emotional. And we keep watching those videos, Jason, and a pretty incredible scene last night. Why, though, was JD Vance the right guy to be on the ticket with Trump?
Yeah, JD Vance is someone who very much has a similar view as President Trump on how we're going to save America, how we're going to actually improve people's lives. When you think about the American worker, the people who have been left behind, someone like JD Vance who came from Appalachia region of Ohio, someone who went into the Marines, who served honorably overseas, then went to Yale Law School, of course, wrote Hillbilly Elegy. He has the views, the connection to the working class in America to help people right now. But I think his life story, I think his bio, I think who he is as a person really shows that he represents what that next generation in America First leadership is going to look like.
Yeah, and I love the first story we got of JD Vance on the ticket. Jason, I know that you're a dad. He's got a 7-year-old. I've got a 7-year-old. Apparently, Donald Trump called him at his house in Ohio, and his son was running around doing what 7-year-olds do, just being a madman behind the scenes. And apparently, Donald Trump said, "Let me talk to your son," put him on the phone. So they chatted for a brief moment, and then JD Vance got in the motorcade and headed to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He's 39 years old. His birthday is in August, so he'll be 40 on Election Day. But how much of this for Donald Trump in making this choice was about going younger, just in case the Democrats do swap out Joe Biden for somebody like Kamala Harris on the top of the ticket?
Well, I think it had everything to do with who was the right person that could step in and be president of the United States today. And as President Trump was looking at all the choices who are in front of him, he looked at JD Vance. I think he was really moved by JD's story, someone whose family has faced their own issues with addiction, someone who has know what it's like to not wonder where that next meal is going to come from. And so with JD Vance, especially when you talk about the upper Midwest states, the Great Lakes states, the Rust Belt communities, quite frankly, that Joe Biden's years of voting has left behind. Keep in mind, Joe Biden voted for NAFTA. Joe Biden supported China's entry into the WTO. These two moves just on their own completely wiped out towns and towns all across the Midwest. And I think JD Vance can speak to that.
And I think a lot of American people are asking this question as well after what happened on Saturday with the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. Is JD Vance ready to be a leader on day one if needed?
He absolutely is. And when you look at his real life experience, in addition to being in the Senate, someone who's served in the Marines, someone who's helped launch businesses, I think most people would look and say that's a lot better experience, quite frankly, than having spent decades on Capitol Hill, for example. But when you talk about where this race really shakes out with, last night we were talking about make America wealthy again. How do we go and actually improve the economy for people? Tonight we're going to be talking about how we make America safe again. We're going to be talking about the issues going on with crime in our local communities. We're going to be talking about border security, which of course has all gone to hell under Joe Biden. And this is really where someone like JD Vance, I believe, shines and connects with voters all around the country.
Jason, can I ask you, who was the runner-up?
You'd have to ask President Trump on that one.
He hasn't revealed that. What does Vance mean for the ticket in a place like Pennsylvania? So, of course, he represents Ohio. Ohio borders western Pennsylvania. If Joe Biden loses Pennsylvania, that's probably the whole election right there. You talked about JD Vance's credibility with Rust Belt voters and his story, his personal biography. How much did that factor in to selecting Vance to be a part of this ticket?
Oh, well, it definitely played a huge role in it. Obviously, the most important being who's ready to step in and lead on day one. But JD Vance, particularly when you talk about Western Pennsylvania, when you talk about someone who can connect with blue-collar workers, keep in mind last night when we saw the president of the Teamsters praise JD Vance by name. So first of all, we had the historic moment of the president of the Teamsters speaking at an RNC convention, but then he praised the VP pick from the stage. Think about the tectonic plate shift in American politics for this to happen. This shows that the Republican Party now, with President Trump, it's in a much more diverse direction. It's much more about the working class people in America, not so much about the corporations that for years have left people behind. Yesterday was a big development on so many levels.